First contact, Earth meets the Zarkon. The night sky over New Beijing glowed with an eerie green light. Dr. Mei Chen stood on the roof of the Planetary Defense Institute, her eyes fixed on the massive ship hovering above the city. Its sleek, crystalline surface refracted the city lights, creating a dazzling display that outshone even the brightest stars. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with awe and trepidation. Next to her, General Marcus Stone grunted. "Beautiful or not, it's a potential threat. We need to be prepared for anything." May tore her gaze away from the alien vessel and looked at the grizzled military man. His face was etched with worry lines, his hand resting on the butt of his sidearm. She understood his caution, but couldn't help feeling a thrill of excitement. After years of searching the stars, they were no longer alone. "The translation algorithms are ready," May said, tapping her tablet. "As soon as they attempt communication, we'll be able to understand them." As if on cue, a beam of light shot down from the ship, coalescing into a holographic figure on the rooftop. May gasped. The alien was tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with every movement. Its large, almond-shaped eyes were a swirling mix of gold and violet, regarding them with unmistakable intelligence. "Greetings, people of Earth," the alien spoke, its words instantly translated by May's device. "We are the Zarkon, travelers from the stars. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." General Stone stepped forward, his posture rigid. "I am General Marcus Stone of the United Earth Defense Force. On behalf of our planet, I welcome you. What is the purpose of your visit?" The Zarkon's mouth, a small, lipless slit, curved into what Mai assumed was a smile. "We have journeyed far, studying countless worlds and civilizations. Your planet has piqued our interest. We wish to learn from you, to exchange knowledge and culture." May couldn't contain her excitement any longer. She stepped forward, ignoring the warning look from General Stone. "I'm Dr. Mei Chen, xenobiologist and linguist. We have so many questions about your species, your technology, your home world. Would you be willing to share?" The alien's eyes seemed to brighten. "Of course, Dr. Chen. Knowledge is the greatest gift in the universe. We would be honored to share ours with you, and to learn from yours in return." General Stone cleared his throat. "While we appreciate your peaceful intentions, you must understand our caution. Your arrival was unexpected, and your technology far surpasses our own. How can we be sure of your true motives?" The Zarkon's expression became solemn. "Your caution is understandable, General. We have encountered many species who feared the unknown. But it is through trust and openness that true understanding is achieved. We offer you this." The alien extended its hand, and a small glowing orb materialized in its palm. "This contains a fraction of our scientific knowledge, advancements in medicine, clean energy, and space travel. Consider it a gesture of goodwill." May reached out to take the orb, but General Stone stopped her. "I'm sorry, but we can't accept unknown alien technology without proper protocols in place." The Zarkon nodded. "Of course, we respect your procedures. Perhaps we could arrange a formal meeting with your world leaders to discuss terms of cultural exchange." General Stone hesitated, then nodded. "I'll need to consult with my superiors, but I believe that can be arranged." As they continued to discuss logistics, May's mind raced with possibilities. The scientific advancements they could gain, the mysteries of the universe they could unravel, it was beyond her wildest dreams. But a nagging doubt crept into her thoughts. What if General Stone was right to be cautious? What if the Zarkon's intentions weren't as benevolent as they seemed? She studied the alien's face, trying to discern any hint of deception, but its otherworldly features were impossible to read. As a scientist, she knew the importance of skepticism, but as a human being, she couldn't help but feel hope. Hope for a future where humanity reached for the stars not alone, but hand in hand with new allies. The negotiations continued late into the night. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, casting the alien ship in a golden glow, Mai realized that everything had changed. For better or worse, humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe. In the days that followed, the world was gripped by a mix of excitement and fear. News of the Zarkon's arrival spread like wildfire, dominating every headline and conversation. Governments scrambled to form unified responses, religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts, and ordinary people looked to the skies with a new sense of wonder and trepidation. Mai found herself at the center of it all. As one of the first humans to communicate with the Zarkon, she was in high demand. She spent her days in meetings with world leaders, briefing them on what little she knew about the aliens. Her nights were devoted to poring over the data they had shared, trying to glean every possible insight into their biology, technology, and culture. A week after first contact, the United Nations convened an emergency session to decide on humanity's official stance towards the Zarkon. Mai sat in the gallery, watching as representatives from every nation debated the potential risks and rewards of engaging with an advanced alien civilization. "We cannot ignore the potential threat they pose," the Russian ambassador argued. "Their technology is centuries beyond our own. If their intentions are hostile, we would be defenseless." "But think of what we could learn from them," the representative from India countered. "Cures for diseases, solutions to climate change, the secrets of faster-than-light travel. We cannot let fear hold us back from this opportunity." The debate raged on for hours. Mai listened intently, understanding both sides of the argument. As a scientist, she was thrilled by the prospect of learning from the Zarkon, but as a human being, she couldn't ignore the potential dangers. Finally, a consensus was reached. Earth would cautiously engage with the Zarkon, establishing diplomatic relations and limited cultural exchange. But military readiness would be increased, and strict protocols would be put in place to monitor all interactions. As the session adjourned, Mai felt a mix of relief and anticipation. They were moving forward, but with careful steps. It was a start. She was leaving the UN building when she received an urgent message from General Stone. "Dr. Chen, your presence is requested at the Planetary Defense Institute immediately. The Zarkon have made a new proposal." Intrigued, Mai hurried to the institute. When she arrived, she found General Stone in a heated discussion with a holographic projection of the Zarkon ambassador. "Absolutely out of the question," General Stone was saying. "We cannot allow your people unrestricted access to our cities." The Zarkon's expression was unreadable, but its voice carried a note of disappointment. "General, how can we truly learn from each other if we remain at arm's length? We have opened our ship to your scientists. We ask for the same courtesy in return." Mai cleared her throat, announcing her presence. Both the general and the alien turned to look at her. "Dr. Chen," the Zarkon said, its tone warming. "Perhaps you can help us reach an understanding. We propose a cultural exchange program. A small group of Zarkon would live among humans, learn your ways firsthand. In return, we would host an equal number of humans aboard our ship." May's mind raced with the implications. It was an unprecedented opportunity to study the Zarkon up close, to truly understand their society and biology. But the risks were equally significant. "It's an intriguing proposal," she said carefully, "but there are many factors to consider. Health and safety protocols, security concerns, the potential for cultural misunderstandings." General Stone nodded approvingly. "Exactly. The risks are too great." The Zarkon's eyes swirled with what Mai had come to recognize as frustration. "We understand your concerns, but is not the pursuit of knowledge worth some risk? We have much to offer each other, but only if we are willing to trust." Mai found herself torn. The scientist in her yearned for this chance, but the voice of caution in her head, which sounded suspiciously like General Stone, urged restraint. "Perhaps," she said slowly, "we could start with a smaller-scale exchange. A few days, in a controlled environment. It would allow us to test our protocols and build trust gradually." The Zarkon considered this for a moment, then nodded. "A reasonable compromise. We agree to your terms, Dr. Chen." General Stone looked like he wanted to object, but he held his tongue. "I'll need to get approval from my superiors, but I believe we can work with that." As they hammered out the details of the exchange, Mai felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. She was about to embark on the most important scientific endeavor of her life, perhaps in all of human history. The secrets of an alien civilization were within reach. But as she looked at the Zarkon's inscrutable face, a small voice in the back of her mind whispered a warning. What if they were making a terrible mistake? What if this was the first step towards humanity's downfall? Mai pushed the thoughts aside. They had to move forward, to reach out to the stars. It was the only way to grow, to evolve. And if there were dangers ahead, she was confident that human ingenuity and determination would see them through. As the meeting concluded, May gazed out the window at the Zarkon ship hovering in the distance. It no longer seemed as alien and threatening as it had that first night. Instead, it represented possibility, adventure, and the promise of a new era for humanity. Whatever challenges lay ahead, May knew one thing for certain: life on Earth would never be the same again. Cultural clash. Navigating alien customs. The air inside the Zarkon ship hummed with an energy that made the hairs on May's arms stand on end. She walked slowly down a corridor that seemed to breathe, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that shifted in response to her presence. It was beautiful, alien, and utterly terrifying. "Remember," General Stone's voice crackled through her earpiece, "at the first sign of trouble, you activate your emergency beacon. We'll have you out of there in minutes." May nodded, though she knew the general couldn't see her. She was part of the first human delegation to board the Zarkon vessel, a group of 5 scientists and diplomats chosen to participate in the cultural exchange program. It had been 3 weeks since the initial agreement, and after endless debates and preparations, they were finally here. A door arised open ahead of her, revealing a vast chamber that defied human architecture. The ceiling arched impossibly high, its surface a swirling nebula of colors. Floating platforms hovered at various levels, connected by bridges of shimmering energy. And everywhere, there was Zarkon. May's breath caught in her throat. Seeing them en masse was overwhelming. Their iridescent skin gleamed in shades she couldn't even name, their movements fluid and graceful in the low gravity. Some noticed her entrance, their swirling eyes fixing on her with undisguised curiosity. A familiar figure glided towards her, Zixla, the Zarkon ambassador she had met during the negotiations. "Dr. Chen," it said, its lightless mouth curving into what she hoped was a smile. "Welcome to our home. Are you prepared to begin your cultural immersion?" Mai squared her shoulders, pushing down her nervousness. "Yes, Ambassador. I'm eager to learn." Zixla's eyes swirled with approval. "Excellent. We shall start with the ritual of greeting. It is how we forge initial bonds between individuals." Before Mai could ask for clarification, Zixla reached out and placed its hand on her chest, directly over her heart. She flinched at the contact, fighting the urge to step back. The Zarkon's skin was cool and slightly damp, sending a shiver through her body. "Now you must do the same," Zixla instructed. Mai hesitated. Physical contact with an alien species carried unknown risks, but refusing could be seen as an insult, jeopardizing the entire mission. Swallowing her apprehension, she reached out and placed her hand on Zixla's chest. The moment her skin made contact, a jolt of energy surged through her arm. Her vision blurred, and suddenly she was flooded with emotions and sensations that weren't her own. Wonder, curiosity, a deep longing for connection. They washed over her in waves, leaving her gasping. When Zixla finally broke the contact, Mai stumbled backward, her heart racing. What was that?" she managed to ask. The ambassador's eyes swirled with amusement. "The ritual of greeting allows for a surface-level empathic connection. It helps us understand each other's emotional states and intentions. Did you find it unpleasant?" Mai shook her head, still trying to process what had happened. "No, just unexpected. We don't have anything like that on Earth." Zixla tilted its head. "Fascinating. How do you gauge the trustworthiness of new acquaintances without an empathic link? We rely on verbal and non-verbal cues, Mai explained. Body language, tone of voice, past actions. It's not always accurate, but it's what we've developed over time. The ambassador's eyes swirled with what Mai was learning to recognize as deep interest. Your species continues to surprise us, Dr. Chen. Come, there is much more to show you. As they moved through the ship, May's scientific curiosity began to overcome her initial shock. She peppered Zixla with questions about Zarkon biology, culture, and technology. The ambassador answered patiently, but for every question answered, a dozen more sprang up. They passed by what appeared to be a garden, but unlike anything on Earth. Plants with crystalline leaves reached toward an artificial sun, while creatures that looked like a cross between birds and jellyfish floated lazily through the air. This is remarkable, Mai breathed, reaching out to touch one of the crystal leaves. It chimed softly at her touch, sending ripples of color through its surface. Zixla watched her closely. We have brought samples of flora and fauna from many worlds we've visited. This garden is a testament to the diversity of life in the universe. May's scientific mind raced with the implications. The potential for new medicines, materials, and technologies was staggering, but a nagging thought tugged at her. These other worlds you've visited, did they all welcome you as we have? The ambassador was quiet for a moment. Not all, it admitted. Some feared us, as you did initially. Others were not ready for the knowledge we offered. A chill ran down May's spine. What happened to them? Zixla's eyes swirled with an emotion Mai couldn't decipher. They made their choices, as all species must. But let us not dwell on the past. There is still much to show you. As they continued their tour, Mai couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The Zarkon technology was centuries, perhaps millennia beyond Earth's. The power imbalance was staggering. What if humanity wasn't ready for the knowledge they offered? What if, in their eagerness to advance, they were walking into a trap? Her thoughts were interrupted by a commotion ahead. A group of Zarkon were gathered around one of her fellow delegates, Dr. Amit Patel. The astrophysicist looked pale and shaken. "What's going on?" Mai asked, hurrying over. Amit turned to her, his eyes wide. I think I just participated in a marriage ceremony." Mai blinked in confusion. "What?" One of the Zarkon stepped forward, its skin flushed a deep purple. "We asked if he wished to join in our bonding ritual." He agreed. Amit shook his head frantically. "I thought they were talking about some kind of scientific collaboration. I didn't realize." May turned to Zixla, who had followed her. "There must be some misunderstanding. On Earth, marriage is a serious commitment. It's not something we enter into lightly or with someone we've just met." The ambassador's eyes swirled with confusion. "But the bonding ritual is the foundation of all deep relationships, be they personal or professional. How can you hope to work together effectively without it?" May took a deep breath, realizing the cultural chasm they were facing was far wider than she had imagined. "Perhaps we need to establish clearer protocols for communication," she said carefully, "to avoid these kinds of misunderstandings in the future." Zixla considered this for a moment, then nodded. "A wise suggestion, Dr. Chen. We shall implement it immediately." It turned to the other Zarkon and spoke in their native language, a series of musical tones and clicks. As the situation with Emmett was sorted out, the Zarkon agreed to consider the bonding ritual nullified. Mai couldn't help but wonder what other cultural landmines lay ahead. They had prepared extensively for this exchange, but it was clear that no amount of preparation could have fully readied them for the reality of interacting with a truly alien civilization. Later that night, as May lay in her assigned quarters, a room that seemed to be alive, its walls shifting and changing in response to her thoughts and emotions, she reflected on the day's events. The wonders she had seen were beyond her wildest dreams. The scientific advancements the Zarkon offered could solve many of humanity's greatest challenges. But at what cost? The Zarkon's casual mention of worlds that weren't ready haunted her. What if Earth wasn't ready? What if, in their eagerness to advance, they were risking everything that made them human? Mai rolled over, watching as the ceiling above her transformed into a breathtaking view of an alien sky, filled with swirling nebulae and unknown constellations. It was beautiful, awe-inspiring, and terrifying. As she drifted off to sleep, Mai couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was standing on the edge of a precipice. Whether they would soar into a bright new future or plummet into the abyss remained to be seen. But one thing was certain, there was no going back. For better or worse, Earth's destiny was now inextricably linked with the Zarkon. The cultural exchange had only just begun, and already it was clear that the greatest challenge wouldn't be understanding alien technology or biology. It would be bridging the vast gulf between two fundamentally different ways of thinking, feeling, and experiencing the universe. As Mai finally succumbed to exhaustion, her dreams were filled with swirling alien eyes and the echo of a question that had no easy answer. Were they doing the right thing? Only time would tell. Unlikely alliance. Humans and Zarkon unite against a common threat. The Zarkon ship's command center hummed with nervous energy. Mai stood beside Zixla, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that dominated the room. A swarm of red dots was moving steadily towards Earth, each representing a vessel of terrifying size and power. The Void Hunters, Zixla said, its voice uncharacteristically grim. We had hoped they would not find your world so soon. General Stone's hologram flickered beside them, his face etched with concern. You're saying these Void Hunters, they're a threat to both our species. Zixla's eyes swirled with a mix of fear and determination. They are a threat to all life in the galaxy. They consume entire worlds, strip-mining planets, and enslaving populations. We have been fleeing them for centuries. May's mind reeled. In the 3 months since the cultural exchange began, she had learned wonders beyond imagining. But this was beyond anything she had prepared for. Why didn't you warn us earlier? She asked, unable to keep the accusation from her voice. Zixla turned to her, its eyes filled with regret. We hoped to prepare you gradually, to help your species advance to a level where you could defend yourselves. We underestimated the Void Hunter's reach. General Stone's hologram stepped forward. How long do we have? At their current speed, they will reach Earth in 7 days, Zixla replied. The command center erupted in a flurry of activity. Zarkon operators moved with fluid grace between control panels, their skin flickering with bioluminescent patterns that May now recognized as a form of non-verbal communication. We need to evacuate, General Stone said firmly. How many of our people can your ships carry? May's heart clenched at the thought of abandoning Earth. But before she could speak, Zixla surprised her. No, the ambassador said, its voice resonating with newfound strength. We will not run, not this time. Together, we stand a chance of defeating the Void Hunters. General Stone's eyebrows shot up. With all due respect, Ambassador, you just said these Void Hunters have been chasing you across the galaxy. What chance do we have? Zixla's eyes swirled with a complexity of emotions Mai was still learning to decipher. Your species has shown us something we had forgotten, General. The power of innovation, of thinking beyond established patterns. In the short time we've studied your culture, we've seen you solve problems in ways we never considered. The ambassador turned to May, placing a cool hand on her shoulder. Dr. Chen, your work on adapting our biotechnology to human physiology has been nothing short of revolutionary. If we combine Zarkon technology with human ingenuity, we may yet find a way to defeat the Void Hunters. May's mind raced with possibilities. The breakthroughs they'd made in the past months, the fusion of human and Zarkon science. Could it really be enough to face this threat? General Stone's hologram flickered as he considered the proposal. Even if we pool our resources, we're vastly outnumbered. How can we possibly stand against a force that size? A new voice joined the conversation. Dr. Amit Patel stepped forward, his eyes shining with excitement. What if we don't have to fight them all? Zixla, you said the Void Hunters operate as a collective, right? like a hive mind. The ambassador nodded. Yes, they are linked through a complex quantum entanglement network. It allows them to coordinate their attacks with terrifying efficiency. Amit grinned. Then that's our target. We don't need to destroy their ships. We just need to disrupt their network. May caught on to his line of thinking. The quantum resonance technology we've been developing, if we could amplify it, broadcast it on a massive scale. We could break their connection, Zixla finished, its eyes swirling with hope. Without their hive mind, they would be vulnerable. General Stone's hologram straightened. It's a long shot, but it's the best plan we've got. What do you need from us? The next 7 days were a blur of feverish activity. The Zarkon shared their most advanced technology, while human scientists and engineers worked around the clock to adapt it. Mai found herself at the heart of it all, her understanding of both human and Zarkon biology proving crucial in developing interfaces that would allow the two species to work in perfect synchronization. As the deadline approached, a fleet of hybrid ships took shape in Earth's orbit. They were a marvel of engineering, combining the organic fluidity of Zarkon design with the rugged functionality of human craftsmanship. At their heart was the quantum resonance device, a machine that hummed with potential energy, ready to unleash a wave that would reshape the fabric of space-time itself. On the eve of the Void Hunter's arrival, Mai stood on the bridge of the flagship, christened Unity. Around her, humans and Zarkon worked side by side, their movements choreographed with a precision that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Zixla glided to her side, its skin shimmering with a pattern that May now recognized as one of deep respect. Dr. Chen, whatever happens tomorrow, know that your species has earned its place among the stars. You have shown us that there is always hope, even in the darkest of times. Mai smiled, feeling a surge of pride, not just for humanity, but for the unprecedented alliance they had forged. We couldn't have done this without you, Zixla. Whatever happens, we face it together. As the first wave of Void Hunter ships appeared on the long-range sensors, Mai felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. They were about to attempt something never before seen in the history of the galaxy. If they failed, 2 civilizations would fall, but if they succeeded... The comm system crackled to life, and General Stone's voice rang out across the fleet. All ships, this is General Stone. We stand at a crossroads of history. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the right of all sentient beings to live free from tyranny. Human and Zarkon, we are united in purpose. Let's show these Void Hunters what happens when they pick a fight with the combined might of our civilizations. For Earth, for Zarkon, for the future of the galaxy, attack. The hybrid fleet surged forward, a dazzling array of human and Zarkon technology working in perfect harmony. As the first shots were fired, May sent up a silent prayer to whatever forces might be listening in the vast expanse of space. The battle for Earth had begun, and with it, the dawn of a new era in galactic history. Whether they will emerge victorious or fall trying, one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again. The battle for Earth, a symphony of stars and steel. The void of space erupted into a dazzling spectacle of light and energy as the combined human Zarkon fleet engaged the Void Hunters. May's hands flew across the holographic interface of the Unity's command center, her mind seamlessly connected to the ship's neural network through a groundbreaking human Zarkon biotechnology interface. Quantum resonance device at 85% charge, she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. We need to get closer to their command ship. Zixla, its skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns of battle readiness, manipulated the ship's organic controls. Navigating through their defensive line now. Brace for impact. The Unity shuddered as enemy fire glanced off its hybrid shields, a mesmerizing dance of human ingenuity and Zarkon energy manipulation. Through the viewscreen, Mai watched in awe as human fighters darted between massive Void Hunter vessels, their piloting skills honed by generations of aerial combat, now applied to the three-dimensional chess game of space warfare. Look at them go, breathed Dr. Amit Patel, his eyes wide with wonder. They're flying rings around those behemoths. But for every Void Hunter ship they managed to disable, 3 more seemed to take its place. The enemy's hive mind allowed them to adapt with terrifying speed, closing gaps in their defenses almost as soon as they appeared. "We're not going to win this through brute force," General Stone's voice crackled through the comm. "Dr. Chen, status on the resonance device." 92%, Mai replied, her fingers dancing across the interface. "But we're still too far from the command ship. We need to get closer." Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. A massive energy signature bloomed on their sensors, dwarfing anything they'd seen before. By the cosmic winds, Zixla breathed, its eyes swirling with fear. They're powering up their world-killer weapon. Mei's blood ran cold. They had known the Void Hunters possessed technology capable of destroying entire planets, but seeing it firsthand was something else entirely. If that weapon fired, Earth would be reduced to cosmic dust in seconds. "We're out of time," she said, making a split-second decision. "We have to fire the resonance device now." "But we're not in optimal range," Amit protested. "The effect will be weakened." Mei's mind raced, calculations and probabilities flashing through her consciousness faster than she could articulate. Then, an idea struck her. Brilliant, insane, and their only hope. "The sun," she said, her voice filled with sudden clarity. "We need to use the sun." Zixla's eyes swirled with confusion. "Explain, Dr. Chen." "If we fire the resonance pulse into your star," Mei said, her words tumbling out in a rush of excitement, "its magnetic field will amplify the signal. It'll create a cascading effect, blanketing the entire solar system in quantum disruption." For a moment, silence reigned on the bridge. Then, General Stone's voice came through, tense but determined. "It's a hell of a Hail Mary, Dr. Chen, but it's the only play we've got. All ships, clear a path to the sun. Throw everything we've got at those Void Hunters." What followed was a symphony of destruction and creation, a ballet of technology and willpower that would be remembered for generations to come. Human ships darted and weaved, drawing enemy fire and creating openings for their Zarkon allies. The Unity plunged through the chaos, its hybrid engines straining as they pushed towards the blinding light of Earth's star. "Void Hunter World Killer at 95% charge," Amit called out, his voice tight with tension. "We've got maybe 2 minutes before they fire." Mei's fingers flew across the controls, making last-second adjustments to the resonance device. "Zixla, I need you to modulate our shields to match the sun's corona frequency. We're going to have to get closer than any ship was ever meant to go." The Zarkon ambassador's skin flickered with patterns of acknowledgement, its alien hands moving with inhuman speed across the organic controls. The viewscreen flared white as they approached the sun, its raw power dwarfing even the might of the Void Hunters. "Now, Dr. Chen," General Stone's voice rang out, "fire the device." Mei took a deep breath, sending a silent prayer to the universe, and activated the quantum resonance device. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the sun itself appeared to shudder. A wave of scintillating energy burst forth, rippling across space in ever-expanding rings. It washed over the Unity, making the ship's hybrid systems sing with otherworldly harmonies. As the wave reached the Void Hunter fleet, their ships began to falter. The perfect synchronization that had made them so formidable broke down, replaced by chaos and confusion. "It's working," Amit shouted, his voice filled with jubilation. "Their hive mind is collapsing." On the viewscreen, Mai watched as the massive world-killer weapon, moments away from firing, suddenly went dark. Void Hunter ships began to drift aimlessly, their crews suddenly cut off from the collective intelligence that had guided their every action. "All ships press the advantage." General Stone's voice boomed across the comm. "Take them out while they're disoriented." What followed was not so much a battle as a rout. Without their hive mind to coordinate their actions, The Void Hunters were easy prey for the combined tactical brilliance of human generals and Zarkon strategists. One by one, the massive enemy ships were disabled or destroyed, their crews surrendering in the face of an alliance they had grossly underestimated. As the last Void Hunter vessel fell silent, a cheer went up across the human Zarkon fleet. Mai felt tears streaming down her face, the enormity of what they had accomplished finally hitting her. They had faced an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, and they had won. Zixla placed a cool hand on her shoulder, its eyes swirling with a complex mix of emotions. "Dr. Chen," it said softly, "your species continues to amaze us. This victory belongs to all of us, but it was your insight, your willingness to take risks that made it possible." Mai smiled through her tears, looking around at the bridge where humans and Zarkon worked side by side. "We did it together," she said, "and I have a feeling this is just the beginning." As the fleet regrouped and began the journey back to Earth, Mai couldn't help but feel a sense of profound change. They had not only saved their world, but had forged an alliance that would reshape the galaxy. The age of humanity's isolation was over. They were now part of something greater, a cosmic community bound together by shared struggles and triumphs. The battle for Earth was won, but the true adventure was just beginning. As May gazed out at the star-studded expanse, she knew that the universe would never be the same again, and neither would they. A new era, forging an interstellar partnership. The grand hall of the newly constructed Cosmic Unity Center buzzed with an energy unlike anything Earth had ever witnessed. Delegates from every nation stood shoulder to shoulder with Zarkon representatives, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic cooperation. At the center of it all stood Mai Chen, her heart racing as she prepared to address the assembled crowd. 5 years had passed since the battle for Earth, and the world had transformed in ways once thought impossible. The fusion of human ingenuity and Zarkon technology had ushered in an age of unprecedented advancement. Climate change had been reversed, diseases once thought incurable were now manageable, and the first human Zarkon hybrid starships were preparing for their maiden voyages to the far reaches of the galaxy. May took a deep breath, stepping up to the holographic podium. As she did, her neural implant, a marvel of bioengineering that bridged human and Zarkon physiology, activated, projecting her thoughts as dazzling visuals for all to see. "Distinguished guests, fellow Earthlings, and our Zarkon allies," she began, her voice carrying across the hall with perfect clarity. "Today, we stand at the dawn of a new era for both our species." The air shimmered as her words took visual form, swirling around her in a mesmerizing display of light and color. It was a technology born from the merging of human art and Zarkon psychic projection, allowing for a form of communication that transcended language barriers. 5 years ago, we faced extinction at the hands of the Void Hunters. Today, we launch an initiative that will ensure no species ever faces such a threat alone again. With a thought, Mai brought up a holographic representation of the galaxy, dotted with pulsing lights representing known civilizations. "I present to you Project Harmony, a galactic network of quantum-entangled beacons that will allow instantaneous communication and travel across vast distances of space." The crowd gasped as the hologram expanded, showing the intricate web of connections forming between stars. It was a vision of unity on a cosmic scale, one that promised to reshape the very fabric of galactic society. But Project Harmony is more than just a technological marvel. Mai continued, her passion evident in the swirling patterns of light around her. "It represents a new philosophy of cosmic cooperation. No longer will advanced species hide their knowledge from developing worlds. No longer will we let fear of the unknown drive us apart." She gestured to the diverse crowd before her. "Look around you. Human and Zarkon, standing together as equals. Who would have thought this possible just a few short years ago? And yet, here we are, stronger together than we ever were apart." As she spoke, memories of the past 5 years flashed in the air around her. The first successful human Zarkon medical procedures, saving lives that would have been lost to either species alone. The terraforming of Mars, turning a red planet green in a fraction of the time once thought possible. The launch of the first faster-than-light probe, built with a perfect fusion of human theoretical physics and Zarkon energy manipulation. But our journey is far from over, Mai said, her voice taking on a note of caution. As we step out into the galaxy, we will face new challenges, encounter species with technologies and philosophies vastly different from our own. We must approach these encounters with open minds and open hearts, remembering the lessons we've learned. She turned to where Zixala stood, the Zarkon ambassador's skin shimmering with patterns of pride and affection. Our Zarkon friends taught us the value of empathic connection, of understanding at a level deeper than words. In turn, we showed them the power of individual creativity, of questioning established norms to find new solutions. Mei's neural implant pulsed, and the holographic display shifted to show the vastness of the unexplored galaxy. As we venture into the unknown, we carry with us the best of both our species, the Zarkon's patience and cosmic wisdom, tempered by humanity's drive and adaptability. Together, we will face whatever the universe has in store for us. She paused, looking out at the sea of faces, human and alien alike, all united in a common purpose. The road ahead will not be easy. There will be setbacks, misunderstandings, and challenges we can't yet imagine. But I have faith in us, in this unprecedented alliance we forged. The holographic display erupted in a dazzling array of colors, representing the infinite possibilities that lay before them. Today, we take our first steps as true citizens of the cosmos, not as humans, not as Zarkon, but as something greater, a union of two species who looked beyond their differences and found strength in diversity. Mei's voice rose, filled with determination and hope. Together, we will explore the farthest reaches of space. We will unlock the mysteries of the universe. We will ensure that life, in all its wondrous forms, continues to thrive among the stars. As she finished speaking, the hall erupted in a thunderous applause. Humans cheered and clapped, while Zarkon emitted harmonious tones that resonated with the very air around them. It was a moment of pure unity, a testament to how far they had come. Mai stepped down from the podium, her heart full. Zixala approached her, its eyes swirling with an emotion that needed no translation. Dr. Chen, it said, placing a hand on her shoulder in what had become a familiar gesture of affection. 5 years ago, I could not have imagined this moment. You have shown us a path forward that we never knew existed. Mai smiled, covering Zixala's hand with her own. The touch activated their shared empathic link, allowing her to feel the depth of the ambassador's gratitude and hope. We did this together, she said softly, and this is just the beginning. As they turned to face the cheering crowd, Mai felt a sense of limitless possibility. The stars no longer seemed distant and cold, but full of promise and adventure. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that they would face them united, two species bound together by a shared vision of a brighter future. The age of cosmic isolation was over. A new chapter in galactic history had begun, with Earth and the Zarkon leading the way towards a more connected, cooperative universe. As Mai looked out at the shimmering hologram of the galaxy, she couldn't help but smile. The adventure of a lifetime awaited them among the stars.